Have you ever had an amazing idea in English, but then when you said it, it didn't land the way you thought it would? Like people didn't react to it, or maybe they didn't understand it, or maybe they just kept on talking, or maybe even someone else said the same idea 5 minutes later and got the credit for it. My name is Daniel from DC Fluency, and I've helped hundreds of Latinos with this exact same problem. Here's the thing, it's not that your ideas aren't good. Your ideas are good. It's that the idea is packed with so much information and it makes sense in your head. But then when you try to transmit it to others, it comes out wrong and distorted. Natives solve this problem with 3 specific techniques. And here's the thing, it's not about vocabulary, it's not about phrases this time, it's about something else. These simple phrase patterns will change how you transmit your ideas. I'm going to show you all 3 techniques in this video, and once you start using them, you're going to see a big change immediately. Point 1. Your ideas are packed with more than you think. Let me explain to you why your ideas make sense in your head, but then when you try to say it, it comes out flat. The idea is packed with context, with emotion, with phrases, with structure, and all of that information, all this data, you're trying to compress into a few sentences, and you don't have the right structure. In Spanish, you can do it. Maybe you talk around it. Maybe you talk in circles. Maybe it takes you longer to get to the point because it's normal in Spanish, but in English, it's different. And inside all that compression, your idea actually gets lost. So what felt powerful in your head actually starts coming out like it's simple or basic or too flat. Native speakers know this problem, so they use phrase patterns to fix it. The way they do it is they frame the sentence. They prepare the person for what they're about to say. It's like shining a flashlight onto your idea, and it tells the person listening, hey, this is important. Focus on this. Without this flashlight that I'm going to show you, your ideas just sound basic. They don't sound important. Imagine that you're at a meeting and you know that the strategy the team is following is not working. Now, someone who doesn't prepare their phrase pattern and who doesn't signal says something like, this idea is a bad idea. And they say something like, I think we should change the strategy. This sounds like a basic opinion. It's easy to dismiss and people just move on. But a confident leader will prepare the person and say, here's what we need to understand. This strategy just isn't working. The phrase might sound basic, but it's not. It's doing something very important. It's signaling to the other person that what you're about to say is important and should be taken seriously. Someone who's a friendly connector might say, let me share my thoughts on this. And then they say, this strategy isn't working. That phrase is inviting collaboration. Same idea, different identity, different impact. You can look at this framing phrase as a container that holds your thought. It prepares the person listening to you, the interlocutor, for what's coming next. Without this, your idea is just floating into the ether without any attention, like a balloon. Take, for example, Omar Keys. Before he joined our course, his opinions, his ideas were not taken seriously. But after, now he's able to give presentations, he's able to give his opinions, and people actually care, pay attention to it, and actually put those ideas into action. Check it out.
To do calibration sessions that we do weekly.
Yeah.
At the beginning, everybody, all my peers at work, that have some opinioning, they had so much to say, and I had to, but I was so afraid to speak my mind. But now, it's been like a huge challenge.
Here's the thing, your ideas are not landing, they're not being received by people because you're not telling them to receive them. And that's exactly what framing phrases help you to do. They prepare the listener before the idea even comes out. Point 2, you need to connect before you convince. Now, let's take that same moment and make it even better. You've already framed the idea. You said, here's what's important. Here's what we need to understand. The strategy isn't working. But you know what? That's not enough. People still have not connected to your idea completely. And if they don't connect to it, they won't feel it. And if they don't feel it, they won't remember it. Native speakers solve this with bridging phrases. The whole point is inviting the person into a shared experience. Remember, language is not two or three disconnected people having their own conversations with each other. It's a collaborative moment, which means that the opinion emerges from the three of you communicating, which means it can only connect with them if they feel like it emerged from a shared experience. If it's just like, oh, this guy's trying to show off, he's trying to give his opinion, it's not going to land. That's why you need to bridge the phrases to the person listening to you. You need to use inclusive language like we, us. That way it feels like it's a collaborative moment. So a confident leader will say, you know what happens when we keep pushing a strategy that isn't working? We lose time and we lose credibility. Here's what we need to understand. The strategy isn't working. You see what I did there? You added the connection phrase, the bridge phrase. Then you had the framing phrase, which is here's what we need to understand. And then you gave your idea. The strategy isn't working. Now, a friendly connector might say it a little bit different. He might say, we've all been in a situation where we kept going even when something wasn't working, right? The strategy isn't working the way we hoped. That phrase creates a shared experience instead of pressure. Same technique, but a different identity. And at the end of the day, you're saying the same thing. You're saying the strategy isn't working. What you're doing is you're adding the bridge, you're adding the frame, and then you're adding the idea. So this feels like a shared collaborative experience. Even if you're a confident leader, it's got to feel like the idea emerges from the interaction. If not, you're just some random person at the end of a table speaking words and not connecting with people. And the idea is just floating away. For example, Yaneli was able to connect more with people and her ideas landed more when she started using phrasal verbs that matched her identity.
I'm not entirely convinced that the new accounting software is the best option. I think the QuickBook is better. I have some reservations about the new assistant, but let's see how things go.
Perfect.
I'm inclined to disagree because I believe we can have a better strategy to increase our sales for the next quarter.
Great job. Yeah. And are you going to use these phrases this week? Is there an opportunity?
Next week, I'm going to have my new job. So I got a new job. Yeah, it was a long process on the interview. I have 3 interviews. To me, I was just in a month with this class, but because of those phrasal verbs or how to say my opinions with the business English class, I couldn't express myself better.
These phrasal verbs were able to act as the bridge and also as the frame. So here's the takeaway. Here's the point. If you're saying your idea, but it's not landing, it's because it doesn't feel like a shared experience. It just feels like you're the one trying to speak and get the attention for yourself. Even if it's not your attention, it can come off that way. Now, if you're watching this and you're realizing, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not bridging, I'm not framing, I'm not doing pause pillars, and that's why I'm feeling this way, and you want help to get there, keep in mind I've helped many Spanish-speaking speakers to be able to achieve just this, to be able to communicate their thoughts, not just in meetings and presentations, but in casual conversations, speaking with their friends, speaking with their managers, their superiors. If you want to do this, but you don't want to do it by yourself, schedule a demo call with me. The link is down below. We'll analyze your specific situation, and we will see how exactly we can create a custom plan for you to reach your goals. Point 3. You can buy yourself time without looking weak. Now, here's where it all comes together. Let's say you did everything. You bridged the phrase, you framed the phrase, you said the idea, but then someone challenges the idea. What are you going to do? Well, first thing that probably comes to your mind is you're going to freeze. That probably has happened to you before, right? And then when you freeze, I actually spoke about this in another one of my videos. You tend to go or 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 you just pause and get nervous and start sweating, right? What do? Well, remember, the whole point is to not go blank. Whether you're going or you're saying something. You're saying, I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. You got me. And that just kills everything you did. The bridging, the framing, your idea, bada bing, bada boom. But like we learned in my other video, my students, you need to learn pause pillars. These pause pillars are phrases that you need to have prepared, ready for when someone actually does challenge your idea. We saw the example of Alex Hermosi last time, how he said, let me zoom out on this for a second.
Easier said than done, but fundamentally, this is what we do. So number one, well, let me zoom out.
That buys you time to actually think about how to challenge their challenge. Those phrases will buy you time, my students. By the way, I have a free training called the 7 Pause Pillars, which trains you on how to master these pause pillars so that you don't have to freeze every second when someone challenges your opinion. Click the link down below and you'll find that free masterclass, the 7 Pillars in Fluency. By the way, here's an example of one of our students, Raisa. She used to pause all the time. She used to have a lot of filler words, especially when people challenged her opinions. Look at what she says, how we helped her to be able to overcome this when she started to bridge, to frame, and to do the pause pillars.
So mainly because I needed to build confidence and I needed to be able to organize my thoughts, especially when I'm doing presentations. I feel like I lose people's attention because I'm over explaining things. I don't get to the point. Some of the exercises that I've been doing with Kelly and trying to take pauses instead of using filler words, because I do it a lot. Like I try to fill in the blanks and be like, more information. Then she's saying, okay, how about if you just pause for a second and then continue? I feel like the course is a lot of information. Like even if I try to retain, like I'm not going to be able to retain everything.
Remember, you don't need to speak faster. You need to speak more controlled. You don't need to give a perfect answer when someone challenges you. You need to be able to pause with confidence. You also need to control the pace with phrases that give you time to think. Fluency is not about speed, it's about control. And when you do all these 3 things, the bridging, the framing, and the pause pillars, your ideas won't just be floating in the air. They'll land exactly where you want them to be. So let's recap what we've learned. Your ideas are not landing because you're not doing the 3 techniques. You're not bridging the phrases, which help people show that you're connecting with them. You're not framing the idea. You're not preparing them for what you're about to say. You're not shining the spotlight onto your idea so people don't know where to look. And you're getting nervous when people challenge your ideas. These aren't advanced techniques. These are simple phrase patterns that will completely change how people view your ideas. And this will determine whether they dismiss the idea, ignore it, or actually put it into action. Now, if you want to go deeper, we can go deeper. Now, here's the thing. You can't just use any random phrases, any random bridging phrases, or any random framing phrases. These phrases need to match your fluency identity or personality. So if you want to do it by yourself, go ahead. But where you're going to start, I don't know. How are you going to find your identity by yourself, right? But if you want to help with people who actually know how to diagnose your fluency identity, who actually know how to help you find the phrases you need to feel like yourself when you're giving your ideas, schedule a demo call down below. We'll diagnose your specific situation and we'll give you a custom plan on exactly how to get there. And if you like this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more fluency identity tips. That's all for now. See you next time.